Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to the Afterlife. I need to have like an intro. I don't have an intro yet, but let me know if you got any questions about that, of the idea of orthodoxy. If you're here, make sure to hit the like button as you're coming into the stream here. And I'm going to put this up. You guys have been helping me out quite a bit. Got a new lens, got a new stream deck. I would like to get a few more things to make this just a little bit easier for me to do these streams and do more of these streams and get a little better at it. I'm still figuring it out, these like spontaneous kind of live streams versus my weekly one on Theo Live. So let me know if you got any questions about this. So I'm going to try to keep this stream a little shorter today. But yeah, I enjoyed that conversation in a way from Ruslan and Marcus Rogers. I think Ruslan actually did a really good job. Like I know people are like, I don't know why exactly. Some of y'all need to stop with like the hate. All right. If you like Ruslan or don't like Ruslan, I don't think that he did like a bad job. You know, he was trying to put things in a way that Marcus Rogers would understand. It's pretty clear that Marcus Rogers isn't like theologically trained. That's not to, bash the guy. There are a lot of pastors and Christian leaders who are not. But, he was putting it in a way that Marcus Rogers could understand and trying to help him see the idea of orthodoxy and see why, this oneness theology is against really the like whole idea of the Trinity, and even the word Trinity became a sticking point and all of that. These are things I think we could easily avoid if we understood Christian history. And I will say it's a little weird. I'm just here in this little stream now, so I can be a little bit more blunt about things. I think it is a little weird about like extreme forms of like the charismatic movement. Like, I don't know how close to the line Marcus Rogers is on like Pentecostalism, and like whether he's like, a safe Pentecost. I don't know really anything about Marcus Rogers is essentially what I'm trying to say. But it is a little weird that for those people who would still believe in like the office of apostleship, like that there are apostles here today, it is a little weird for them to be so devoid of Christian history, because really when you think about that, you're talking like in a very similar way to the Roman Catholic Church of having like, they go back to Peter as like the first pope, and that like the pope is just a title that's handed down over and over and over again. And so like it's a little weird for them to like not go back into their history, because they're talking about, this apostle and that apostle, and they fit into like the same, at least similar offices to those of the original apostles. Seems a little weird, like that they don't want to go back into history and, figure out, where Christianity comes from, even though they feel like they have a real connection through that office of apostleship. So I just find that ironic. It's just a little weird to me. Like nothing to really build on there. But let's see. I did have one comment I wanted to show. I try to like just grab like one or two of these comments from the other stream and bring them in. But John Clash was there, and he said, we build off of the leaders of the past. And to that, I would 100% agree. Like we need to learn our history so that we can understand what these guys were going through, what they were thinking through, and how they developed their systems. Like, systematic theology is super important, but also history helps us understand different perspectives on that theology. Like we can probably resonate with a lot of what Athanasius was going through, like especially right now. But let's say hi to some of you guys and let me know if you got any questions about that topic or really anything. These are basically just little mini chill streams. So let me know what you guys think. Iron Man's here. He says, hey there. And BCV, Psycho is here. First question, is this a Canva thumbnail? No, it is not. I make my own thumbnails. Nope. I don't really use Canva. I used to way back in the day, but Proverbs 17:11, Dean, God bless you, brother. I appreciate it. I'm going to put on my glasses now that I don't really care too much so I can actually read these things because I have the computer. I put the camera further back so I can get a little bit bigger of a picture and get the table in and all of that. But let me move some things around too. Chill stream. That's what this is. Okay. And I can read it a little bit better now. Okay. Let's see. We'll always be friends. You should see my latest comment on his latest Marcus Rogers video. I like Ruslan, but it's a rebuke. Okay. Well, that's your opinion, man. I actually, like I said, I thought Ruslan did a pretty good job. Like, was it the fullest defense of the faith? Of course not. He's on a YouTube video. And like he was trying to be like polite and kind to him and be gracious with him. And it's hard, I will say, as someone who has been in pastoral ministry and, done this YouTube thing too, it is really hard, guys, to get someone who is giving like a false view and to be able to get them to admit that, because what they'll say is like, oh, I affirm what you say that is the truth. Like you saw that with him, this is focusing on the wrong thing. But you see that with what their conversation was like, that he would be like, hey, this is the orthodox position on the Trinity. Here's what it is. And he would agree with that. And then he would say the wrong thing. And it's really hard to have that conversation with someone who like isn't theologically trained, just, normal Christian, or at least saying that they're a Christian. And it's hard to like get them into that corner to be able to like help them see that they've like found themselves in a heretical position without, because they're just going to say yes. They're going to say yes to the questions that that they know you want them to say yes to. And then they're going to like say the wrong thing after. So it's difficult. Vigilant Servant is here and says MR is extreme. Like I said, I don't really know anything about the guy. Okay. Not the kind of stuff that I watch. I don't really care. Like, I don't mean to like belittle anyone, but like, don't really care what someone who is of that kind of belief system and also like where they're coming from. I like the academic types like that. Those are the people that I listen to because they've been to school. They've been in ministry. They know what they're talking about. And some random person, while charismatic, I'm probably not going to pay attention to. Let's see. BCV, I'm not hating on Ruslan, but I agree with Marcus's assessment of Ruslan politicking and refusing to answer direct questions. It isn't the first time he's done that. I don't know. I would say that, it's hard when you're hosting someone and you're trying to be kind and still being like, bro, you got, well, maybe not even bro. Like you got some things wrong. And I'm realizing that my glasses are throwing off the autofocus. Oh, interesting. New lens. And I'm still figuring out some stuff. But it's difficult to have those kinds of conversations with someone who's a guest and you're trying to be kind and gracious with them. It's a difficult position to be in. Sarah, missed Ruslan's video, but I'll check it out. Love all the plants. Also, as a Baptist, the word orthodoxy is never spoken. I'm feeling so ignorant right now, right? Right there with you. Like from my background, now I'm Reformed Baptist, have been for basically the last 10 years. But before that, IFB stuff. And so like that word orthodoxy was looked at as, wait, you mean Greek Orthodoxy? Like what is that? And all the creeds and councils, it was always, if you mentioned that, they were just like, get out! Well, they were like that. And then they were just like, who are you trying to impress? Like they're like, no, it's just like, that's normal. It's normal to hold, orthodox positions and talk about the creeds and the councils. I remember once I was teaching at an IFB church and I was talking about, what was I talking about? I think I just brought up the Apostles' Creed in passing and how it said something. And they were like, like the glazed over looks in the pews. And it's so sad because it's like the basics of the faith. Like we should know that thing. It shouldn't be a weird thing for us to actually like look at the creeds and maybe even say them together. Oh, shocker. How like that's so weird, right? Well, maybe not that weird. Let's see. Vigilant Servant. MR is oneness, hypercharismatic, demon slayer, self-proclaimed prophet and apostle. All right. I mean, like, cool. I don't care. Like, I know that like a lot of people like watch his stuff. And so they're probably like very concerned with what he has to say. Me, I'm not so concerned because I don't watch that stuff. And like, I just took it as like, it was an interesting conversation. And then I was like, oh man, both these guys are really trying to dial in what is orthodoxy. And I think Ruslan was trying to put it in an understandable way. And like Marcus Rogers, it was just like completely over his head. And, you know, apparently if it's not written right in the Bible, if it, like the word Trinity, find the word Trinity in the KJV. And if not, then it's thrown out the window. Neither is inerrancy. You going to throw that out the window, right? Like there's like lots of stuff like that. Sure. Let's see. You guys are talking to each other. Philip, I want to be a demon slayer. Sounds rad. It's a band, right? No, Demon Hunter. Oh, man. That song, 1,000 Apologies by Demon Hunter. That was rad back in the day. I haven't listened to that song in forever. Jeremy. Demon Hunter. I think it's Demon Hunter. Oh, now I'm really like, was it Demon Hunter? But the guitarist, Ethan Luck, is one of the most talented dudes on the planet. Like, he plays the drums for the OC Supertones. Then he's in Demon Hunter. Then he has some side projects that are pretty cool. And then all of a sudden he's playing, like, I think he played bass for Reliant K. Like, he was just all over the place. He was pretty cool. Getting people to admit falsehoods is such a challenge. I'm getting to the point of just passing it by. Yeah, it's difficult. Like sometimes you got to wait on the Holy Spirit to be able to like actually reveal it to them. Because some people are just not going to be convinced. And honestly, online conversations, like it's one thing here, you know, we can have a little bit more interaction, but like this is how I view Twitter. Like if someone has something that I disagree with, I'm just not going to say anything. Like I might unfollow them, or if I'm following them, or like that's probably as far as I'm going to go. Like, or if someone's like saying like crazy stuff or coming at you, you know, block button works pretty well. But like people just, they don't come to online conversations to have their mind change, unless I do think that video is a little bit different because you get to see a little bit. And like, I think especially like the casual stuff. I was on a Doctrine and Devotion episode where I talked about that. You can go and look that up. Speaking about the Doctrine and Devotion episode, Philip brings up, yeah, Joe said that. And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to be that guy. You know, I don't think so. Tim, could you elaborate on the topic that they talked about, demons entering music? I didn't understand what was the main point of that. It seems to just be like, hey, if you listen to secular music, you're asking for demons to come in you. Weird. Weird stuff. Also, like for a lot of those people, they usually talk about like a spirit of something, and they talk about demons like that. And I did a stream a couple weeks ago talking about, you know, demons are things, they're people. Like they're people, I guess. They're beings, I guess would be the better word. Spiritual beings. They're not like a spirit of this or a spirit of sickness that needs to leave your body. The Bible doesn't talk about demons in that way. The Bible talks about demons as beings. And there is such a thing as exorcism and things like that, but probably not happen as much as movies would make you believe. We'll always be friends. True. Like, I like saying that. I like saying that that username. True, that makes sense. It is hard, but not everyone who claims Jesus is, and the people with the Holy Spirit are commanded to call it out. I'm charismatic, but that's secondary. If you're not, I get it. Yeah. I think I could agree with that. We are to call it out. I think we still need to do it in kindness and love, right? And some people think that they're being very loving as they do it, and it's like, bro, I don't know. I need to get that as a sound effect. Apparently, I make that sound a lot. But Sly Mask, interested in your thoughts on the debate. Yeah, I kind of already gave it, but I don't know if it was much of a debate. I think I don't think that Marcus Rogers was there to really have a conversation. It didn't seem like it. He just kind of like upset and like emotions are high, which I get. If someone makes a video about me, which has happened, it doesn't make me happy. So I get like that there are emotions attached to that kind of stuff. But it wasn't much of a conversation. I think Ruslan, like I said, I think he did his best to try to get the truth of it to him in a way that he could understand and in a way that he could accept. And I just don't think it worked. So yeah, I won't, you're not going to see me break down like a whole conversation between them. I just thought it was an interesting conversation about that issue of orthodoxy and kind of speaking to the culture a little bit about how we just have no clue what orthodoxy is because we don't want to talk about Christian history because Christian history is boring. It's not. It's filled with all kinds of really interesting stuff. Read, anyone. Oh, here's some things I could talk about. Here are two resources. I'll just give you two. Two resources that you could read, and I think it would be super helpful for you. First is Know the Heretics by Justin Holcomb. Very short, very insightful little read. And then also Know the Creeds and Councils by Justin Holcomb as well. These books are like $10 a pop, and they're just like great little resources on Christian history. And so if you're interested, who are some of these heretics? Well, you can just bust this out, and it's better than Wikipedia, and I think more trusted than Wikipedia. Or if you're interested in the councils, you could read these things. What are creeds and councils? This would be a helpful resource for you. So Know the Creeds and Councils and Know the Heretics. Those would be some great books to pick up and have a little bit more insight into this whole thing. Let me know. I see that there are a bunch of people here. Hit the like button. I'm just basically, doing an AMA kind of deal. So if you have a question, you can let me know and we can talk about that. Jeremy, in kindness and love, but not on Twitter. Right? It's also an issue of wisdom, right? Like, how are people going to receive it? And for me, at least on Twitter, it's just not a thing. It's just not a thing. Like, people aren't going to receive it. So why get into a fight? Like, there are people who spend all day. All right, I'll say something, and I hope it doesn't get around because this person would probably know and be like, oh, dang. I was getting like, I didn't think I started like an argument or anything. But a friend of mine, a pastor, posted like a pretty good tweet, I think about like children's ministry. And I responded to it. And then someone came in, a female pastor, came in and said one thing. And I was like, should I respond to this? I don't know. Should I not? And I was like, well, it's a pretty easy conversation. So I just put in like one more sentence of like, oh, I think it's this. And that started like this conversation, and it just like, this was Father's Day. And like, I responded like a couple times, and then I was just done, man. Cause it's just like, okay, well, this person just like lives for this. Like, they want it, and they want to have conversations. And of course it was going to get back to egalitarianism. And so I was like, I'm done. And like, this person started messaging me, like DMing me, and being like, why aren't you answering me? Why aren't you answering me? And it's just like, whoa. Like I typed back like, I am at Olive Garden with my family on Father's Day. Like, slow down. Like, but like, those are the kind of people, they love it. And they don't want to have their mind changed. They just want to have an argument. And it's just like, fine, go have an argument on your own. I don't want to argue. I got better things I could do. It's not to belittle them. It's just saying like nothing's going to change. If it was something to where like someone might be willing to have their mind changed, then the argument could be worth it. But otherwise, like, ain't nobody got time for that. Wendy, we are bound to repeat history if we don't learn from it. Completely agree. And it keeps happening over and over and over again. Like the stuff with T.D. Jakes on the issue of the Trinity. Like for some people, they're like, oh, what do I do about this? Well, look at Christian history. Like, we got tons of creeds about this. Like it's not like debatable really, but those people who don't, understand the creeds, understand the councils, it's all new to them. And so they're just like, what do we do? And it's always like this state of panic. It's unfortunate. Jeremy, I know a wise person who recently tweeted about not having Twitter fights. Yeah. To which everyone, I put something like, Twitter fights are dumb, and that's it. And like the amount of people being like, you're dumb, including Joe Thorne. But then he started making fun of my Theo Live logo. Jerk. I like that guy. He's my buddy now. That's pretty cool. We'll always be friends, like me and Joe Thorne. No. Awesome to being against Twitter stuff. It just invites unnecessary division in the body, and we are to be of one accord on core beliefs. The world is watching us. I mean, like, yes and no. I think that line of thinking of the world is watching us, I think like way too many people use that. And it's like, the world ain't watching my YouTube. Christians are watching my YouTube. That's what my analytics tell me. Well, like mostly. Like I can kind of figure it out from there. It's Christians. People who are watching my tweets, it's not like, I'm tweeting about Kevin Bacon and 6 degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon and getting Kevin Bacon to tweet at me. Not like someone else I know. That's an inside joke, I guess. But yeah. Like, I just tweet my own stuff. So, like, it's Christians who are going to mostly watch those kinds of things. So I think people get too wrapped up in that. But I understand the sentiment. You do want to have a good witness, even online. I just took a clip out of Theo Live and dropped it yesterday about that. So, super important to me as well. Sarah, it seems to me people don't want to know the history because they don't want there to be only one team. Ooh, they like their special, unique Jesus team. The only special person would then be Jesus. Yeah, I completely agree. Like everyone thinks that they're like, developing these new things and we've come up with a new position. It's like, bro, this ain't new. Like, no, this has been around for a long time. It'll be around. Christianity will be like, if Jesus doesn't come back, Christianity was around a long time before me. It's going to be around a long time after me. It's gonna be fine. So slow your roll, like these people who are like, this threat against the gospel. There is no threat against the gospel. All right, the gospel's going to be fine. But, that being said, we need to combat false teaching and all of that. But let's not act like the gospel is really under duress, okay? The gospel's going to be fine. David Collins, what's up, bro? How are you? I'm doing good. That's a good question. I'm doing good. Just hanging out, switched up some stuff today. Like always, like every other stream. Proud of you for growing a relevant ministry in such challenging time. I appreciate that, man. David, you're the bomb. You're the bomb. I appreciate that encouragement. Seeley, the world does pay attention to the crazy things some churches do and then bash Christianity based on a few crazies. Yeah, like to real life. Like that matters. Like the world is watching real life. But I just think a lot of people are like, oh, the world is watching my stuff. And it's like, no, that's not the way like social media works. Like, the world's not going to see your Facebook posts. It's going to be your friends. Most of them are probably Christians if you're a Christian. And then like Twitter, same deal. YouTube, you might have some atheists who are really militant, but most likely it's going to be Christians who are going to watch my Christian YouTube channel. Like, I thought it would be different, but, it just isn't. So I've kind of come to terms with that. But yeah, real life and definitely how we live and whether we're going to be hypocritical or not, definitely. But like Twitter fights, like, you don't want to have a bad witness, but I don't know if the world's really paying attention to all that. LOL, get Kevin Bacon on. I wish. That would be fun. What would we talk about? We'd just talk about tremors for like 3 hours. He'd be done after like 5 minutes. Orlando, hey man, hi everyone, he says, and we'll always be friends says, fair enough, makes sense. All right, well, fair enough. I think that's about it for the stream. Hope that you enjoyed it. If you didn't watch the stream before, go back and watch it. It's pretty short. I try to keep those. I'm trying to do more lives and do shorter lives as far as like the video. This video is going to go unlisted. So if you started watching it, you'll be able to access it. But, new people, they're not going to be able to watch it. It's just basically hanging out after the other stream. So if you didn't watch the other stream, go back and watch it. And what day is today? Today's Wednesday. I don't know what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the week. I kind of want to slow down a little bit this week. Just got some stuff going on, and so I think I might do another stream tomorrow and then drop some other videos. You'll see more stuff through the week. But if you're new to the channel, hey, also think about this thing right over here. There's a link in the description to my PayPal if you want to help me improve the look of things just a little bit. You guys have already done like a whole lot, so I appreciate it. And like the video, think about subscribing if you're new to the channel completely. And yeah, anyways, I will see you sometime in the future. We got to go back. It's your kids, Marty.